The media has gone absolutely insane. I never thought it would get this bad, but I guess in pursuit of owning Trump, the media now gives priority time, resources, sympathy, and puff pieces to ISIS.
I think I should be allowed to go home. I don't believe I did anything wrong. I didn't kill nobody. I didn't do any harm to anybody. I was just with my kids.
He has no proof that I'm a threat, other than that I was in ISIS, but...
The United States himself said that you're not welcome back to America. What would you say to him?
I would tell him to study the legal system, because apparently I am allowed back. I have papers, I have citizenship, I have my dad's documents. It's apparent that he stopped working with the United Nations way before I was born.
I guess that's where they draw the line. Anybody but Trump supporters, libertarian, people who like low taxes, personal liberties, and even normal liberals who don't freak out over comedy and different opinion.
A lot of people are going to find that hard to believe after some of the tweets that you put out.
I know that, but it was an ideology that really was just a phase.
There's one tweet in particular where you talk about calling on Americans to do drive-by shootings, to rent a truck and drive over people, spilling their blood, and you say Memorial Day, Veterans Day, go out and do it.
Again, my lawyer told me not to speak about these things.
Just look at the featured news section on Twitter. This is how they portray a working American woman, and this is how they portray an ISIS member. Notice the differences. This one looks like a mugshot. This one looks like a puff sympathy piece. This person, Sarah Flores, her crime? Being a successful white American woman in the workforce who worked for the President of the United States. CNN has to defend its hiring of former Trump administration aide. But the teenager who joined IS says stripping of UK citizenship is unjust. So CNN had to defend its hiring of a woman who worked for Trump, and the UK government had to defend its move in not letting an ISIS member into the country. And notice they say IS because ISIS was branded horribly. They told the truth about it. They told us their values, ideals, and agenda. And the American public was made to fear ISIS. But now that they want to let them into the United States, it's just IS. You know, it's a woman, baby. This is one of their main tactics. They take something horrible and evil and wrap it in women, children, and social justice so you can't disagree with it, or else you're a monster. They literally use women, children, and minority groups as a shield. So when their horrific ideas get attacked, they claim that you're attacking the minority group or the woman or the child. Classic tactics, but it's getting quite obvious. The craziest part is hundreds of millions of American citizens don't get a say in the media. They constantly just get trampled and hated on by the mainstream media. American tax-paying citizens, many of which want lower taxes, more personal liberty, and smaller government staying out of their life. Doesn't seem like too much to ask, or at least to give a proper perspective piece on, but they don't do that. It's hate, 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 hate on anybody who leans right, anybody center, and honestly now, anybody from the left who isn't part of the mob mentality and crazy culture that we're building. But who do they give a puff piece to? Oh, it's just IS, guys. It's just a woman and child. CNN defends its hiring of former Trump. Okay, so when President Trump calls them the enemy of the people, I understand that a lot of people might not like the president, but it's hard to think that he's lying or exaggerating. No matter what you believe in or who you agree with politically, the media is really that bad. And if you want to take it to the Middle East, here's a story from a few years ago saying that the US was funding a war from both sides, fighting each other. But nobody seems to care about that. It's more, wait, what did Kevin Hart say on Twitter 10 years ago? Who cares?
Industry has gone through a major growth. We are expanding to make films that better reflect the people that buy movie tickets. But they are not allowed enough chances to read public discourse on these films by the people that these films were made for. I do not need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work for him about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't made for him. I want to know what that film meant to women of color, to biracial women, to teen women of color, to teens that are biracial.
Imagine her taking any other group, any gender, or any other race or ethnicity.
I do not need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work for him about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't made for him. I want to know what that film meant to women of color.
Seems pretty discriminatory, bigoted, and racist to me. Just let me know when you want me to drink out of a different water fountain. I'm slightly joking, but also not really. I've been into restaurants recently where there's one women's room, one gender neutral room. Okay. Where does this stuff end? What's the end game of these people? As somebody who's a normal, moderate, sane liberal, somebody who wants max liberty, not somebody who wants to run around stealing everybody's liberty, being extremely racist, extremely sexist like they are, also known as only judging people by their skin color, only judging people by their gender, and openly hating on other people solely based on their skin color or gender. But apparently they get the pass because they run all over the media and lie on stages and microphones and say, I'm standing up for women and children and people of color and Hispanics. I love the people more than you do. I'm so much less racist than you are. That's why they get a pass of being openly and outwardly the most discriminatory, racist, and sexist people in our country, because they lie about it and do a good job pressuring the tech companies and the mainstream media to make sure that 95% of the flow of information is all in the tunnel vision of their extremist, racist, and sexist leftist agenda. Seriously. Where does this stuff end? In Los Angeles, they made it legal to give somebody HIV. Pretty gross and disturbing, but okay. Then the next year, they say, oh, there's STDs rising rapidly. It must be racism. Guys and girls, this isn't liberalism. This isn't progressivism. This isn't woke. This isn't equality or freedom. It's the very opposite, wrapped in the most vulnerable groups like women and children and minority groups, to steamroll this agenda of big government, high taxes, no personal liberty, and outward blatant racism and sexism. And God forbid you're one of the minority groups or a woman who has the wrong skin color or has the wrong ideas and beliefs, like personal liberty, freedom, non-censorship, pretty basic stuff, then they will viciously come down on you with all force and make sure to silence your opinion, your character, or your company as quickly as possible by mimicking pretty much every authoritarian regime ever: speech control, massive censorship, mass media control, government control over the health industry, more taxes, which means your money going to the federal government in bigger amounts. It's creeping closer and closer and has already become the authoritarian fascist boogeyman that they keep searching for. But they think they get a pass because they're screeching and screaming, calling everybody else fascist authoritarians. So that makes it okay? I don't think so. I don't think it's okay that the mainstream media silences hundreds of millions of American voices, looks down on the taxpayer, looks down on the citizen, looks down on the biggest group of people who actually love the country, and bends over backwards for ISIS members, illegal immigrants, and pretty much anyone on the planet besides certain groups of people who love the country and have maybe the wrong skin color or gender for this creepy generation of groupthink. Look at this politician openly talk about killing a baby that already is pretty much alive.
So in this particular example, if a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mothers.
Taking late-term abortion to a whole new level. But he gets away with it, even though this was from his yearbook, a KKK guy standing right next to somebody in blackface. Recent reports of his wife talking about picking cotton on a trip. Oh, no, but that's okay. He shouldn't lose his job because he's a Democrat. Oh, I get it. So you're allowed to crush anything, destroy anything, kill babies, lie, become massive hypocrites, do pretty much everything wrong and backwards, but it's all okay because it's just the mainstream media. They're so trusted and great. Oh, no. They're just liberals and progressives and activists. They couldn't possibly be wrong in their ideology and their thought process. I don't get it. Because it doesn't make sense. Because it's not right. Because it's not honest. Because it's not fair. Because it's not progressive. Because it's not liberal. Because it's not truthful. Because it's not helpful. And it's certainly not American on either side. So enough is enough. Give the people a voice. Stop bending over backwards for ISIS members and illegal immigrants. If you're going to stomp all over the hundreds of millions of taxpayers and working class people and lower class people and American citizens who are dying at rates of hundreds in American cities that never get the press, attention, care, or proper news coverage that they truly deserve. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining. If you'd like to support, like my page, subscribe on YouTube, follow me on Instagram at DreamRare. Support if you'd like, but most importantly, have an amazing day.